Hey everybody, welcome back to Casa de Davido. Usually my videos are about my 2004 C5 Corvette behind me, but today we are hanging in the backyard with the kiddie pool, an adult beverage, and the Uniden R3. Now I recently just picked this up and I want to go over why I chose the R3 and why this may or may not be a radar that you may want to pick up if you are indeed looking for a radar detector yourself. So let's cue that awesome intro and let's get into it. Alright, so first off, this is not an in-depth review of the Uniden R3. If you want to do that, definitely head over to Vortex Radar's YouTube channel. He goes crazy in depth with obviously the Uniden R3 and many other radar detectors, and many of the ones I'm going to mention here in this video. So definitely head over to his channel if you want to know more about the in-depth reviews on the R3 and any other radar detector. Alright, now the Uniden R3, it's been out for about 3 years now, and when it came out, it blew everything out of the water, whether it was in the same price range, even detectors that were, several $100s more than it. Performance on this was just amazing, and it still is amazing, even though it is 3 years old. And initially, there was a long waiting list to even get this, so that speaks for how great this radar detector is, and there's many different reviews on how good the Uniden R3 is. And there's a few reasons why I picked it out, so I'm going to go over those. Now, obviously, when you're looking at the R3, you're going to be looking at many detectors that are either in the same price point or even ones that are more money that offer a little bit more than the R3 offers. Obviously, this is made by Uniden, so Uniden makes an R7, which essentially is the same performance as the R3, but it includes arrows so that it can sense radar whether it's in front of you or behind you, and it indicates on the front with the arrows where that radar is coming from. And then competitors of the R7 are the Max 360, the Max 360C, which is the newer variant of the Max 360, the V1 Gen 2 that just recently came out a few months ago, and also other detectors that do not have the arrows, like the Redenzo Pro M, which is a little bit more money than this, and also the cheaper version of the R3, which does not include GPS, which is the Uniden R1. Now, the reason why I was looking for a radar detector is I was on the highway a few weeks ago. I do use Waze when I'm on the highway, and there was a cop in the median that was not pinpointed on Waze, and luckily I was able to hit the brakes before I guess he got radar on me, and luckily he did not come out, because it would not have been a pleasant pullover if he did. So immediately I went back, checked out Vortex's videos that I've been watching him for years, and originally I was going to get the V1 Gen 2, but with the V1 Gen 2, to get a lot of its capabilities, you need to run an app on your phone, and sometimes I just want a radar detector to work and work well without actually using my phone for anything. I know, like I just said, sometimes I use Waze, but sometimes I don't, and I don't want to have to remember every time I'm using the radar detector to also use the app on my phone. So I decided not to get the V1 Gen 2, and then of course, obviously, to keep in the arrows, a lot of people get the Uniden R7, but the R7 is about $480, so a little bit cheaper than the V1 Gen 2, which was $500. But again, I was looking at that, I was like, $480, that's still a lot of money to drop on a radar detector. So I continued to look. The Max 360 is $500. The Max 360C is even more at $650. But again, those offer you a few more things that obviously this doesn't offer you, but for me, those aren't deal breakers, like automatic GPS lockouts, not that big a deal. The arrows, again, for me, personally, not that big a deal. For you, it might be. So then it came to the radar detectors that don't have the arrows, which is obviously Uniden R3, the Redenzo Pro M, which is $450, and this R3 is now only $300. When it initially came out, it was $400, but now that they dropped the price to $300, this was the ultimate go-to for me. Definitely just based on the price alone. So now, after talking about all the different competitors to the Uniden R3, why did I choose the R3 over any of the other ones? One, it's a very great performer in KA band. That's primarily what the state police use in my state. They pretty much exclusively use 34/7 and laser. Obviously, if you detect laser with this, it's too late at that point. That's not what this is for. But it's really good performer in 34/7. And when you look at all the test results that Vortex did and a bunch of other channels did, Uniden R7 and R3 were at the top of those performances. So those were the top performers. It pretty much came down to me to choosing R3 or R7. And like I already just mentioned, the R7 being 480, I just felt like that was a lot of coin to drop on a radar detector. So I went with the R3, being that it's only 300. And then also allow the local PD to me use 34/7 as well. I haven't come across any local PDs that use K-band. So I exclusively run this in city mode, which has Ka-band at 100% sensitivity, and K-band I think around like 20 or 18% sensitivity for K-band. And then running it that way, I have very little BSM pulses, which is awesome. Now, if you're in an area where you do have a lot of K-band, you're going to want to probably run you're probably going to want to run it in advanced mode where you can set the sensitivity. I'm going to leave a link again down in the description to Vortex's recommended settings for this. If you do encounter more K-band in your area, I believe he sets his K-band sensitivity to 70%. Now, when I did run it with the advanced setting, I did get more K pulses, but I don't know if those were BSM pulses or if that was just picking up all because I was on a toll highway the other day. I don't know if that was just picking up all the different toll plazas or what. So that sums up why I chose the R3. I mean, the price at $300, for $300 you cannot get a better radar detector than this one. Again, GPS, so you can do your auto lockouts. It has auto low speed muting, so when you're going under a certain speed, it'll mute the signal. And again, it just works really, really well on 34/7, which is what New Jersey State Police use and a lot of local PD around me use. So just for that alone, that's why I chose the R3. I pretty much run it only when I'm on the highway. I do use it around town a little bit, but you know, I don't act a fool locally. You know, my car is pretty obvious as to what it looks like. So you act a fool too much, you know, the cops will start to bug you. So I don't drive like an idiot locally, but when I'm on the highways and, you know, you want to drive a little aggressive every once in a while, it's good to know if there's a cop in the area, and this does a great job, at least for me here in New Jersey, where it's primarily Ka band. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. If you also have the R3, let me know down in the comments why you chose the R3. And if you don't have the R3 and if you chose something else, let me know down in the comments again why you chose that detector instead. Again, this isn't for everybody, but it fits my needs and wants, and so far I'm extremely happy with it, and I think you would be too. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.